What's up, everybody? Welcome to this NWSL Championship recap video. Before I jump in, as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the other content I have coming out every single week on YouTube. The Portland Thorns get it done, defeating the Kansas City Current 2-0 in the NWSL Championship game. Third title for the Thorns. That gives them the most in NWSL history, breaking a tie with FC Kansas City and the North Carolina Courage. First and foremost, congratulations to the Thorns. There isn't all that much to say about this game. It's pretty simple, really. A little bit of a mistake from Elizabeth Ball slipping. Portland gets a turnover before that. All of a sudden, Sophia Smith is through one-on-one. Sophia Smith is not going to miss that opportunity. We're 5 minutes into the game. Calm as you like with the finish. Gets Audie French diving. Audie French can't get the ball. Sophia Smith just pops it into the net. And that was more or less the game. One of the things I kept pointing out when talking about Kansas City and some of the reason for the success in those first two rounds, scoring goals inside 5 minutes. Both games took super early leads, and that changed the complexion, and it put that extra pressure on the teams playing at home, the favorites that were supposed to win. It also allowed Kansas City to kind of sit back and do what Kansas City does best. Fundamentally sound defensively, force you into mistakes, apply some pressure without sort of sacrificing your defensive shape, all of that stuff. That's what this Kansas City team is built to do without the important stars who were unavailable this season. All of a sudden, you give up the goal inside of 5 minutes, and now you're trying to chase a game, and the Current just didn't have an answer. Very few ideas. The ball wasn't getting into the box very much. They didn't have a shot on goal. And so they found a way to hang in there. It's not like Portland was sensational all game in attack, creating good chances left and right. But one of the things I talked about heading into this game is a key. What do we get from Sophia Smith in that Portland Thorns front line? And you got a much, much better performance than you did in the semifinals against San Diego. They didn't need to be bailed out by two wonder goals. Sophia Smith got her one glorious opportunity. She capitalized on it. Yasmin Ryan was causing all kinds of issues. Morgan Weger was causing all kinds of issues. Ultimately, it's Ryan's cross with Smith making a near post run that leads to the own goal that gets knocked in as they're trying to deal with Smith again causing problems and a really dangerous ball played in by Ryan. That front three was really good. They showed you exactly why they've been the best attack in the league all season. You just needed to cause enough havoc. They got a couple opportunities, took advantage of them, and that was pretty much that. Outside of sort of what happened on the field, because those are my two big takeaways here. It's a very different world as an underdog when you're playing from behind as opposed to when you're able to get that first goal and dictate how the game kind of goes. Kansas City learned that the hard way in this one. And second was Portland's attacking talent showed up in a big way. They were excellent. And Kansas City just doesn't have the top-end talent to deal with that when Sophia Smith is that good, when the players around her are that good. You saw kind of the entire Sophia Smith package. The one-on-one finishing, the link-up play, the passing. She is sensational. There's a reason she just won league MVP. She showed you why in this game on the biggest stage. Outside of the on-field stuff, though, the one thing I do want to talk about for a little bit here. This Thorns team could have had this season sort of go haywire for a variety of reasons that they didn't have much control over. You start with the fact that there was a coaching change at the beginning of this season that, because of all of the in-season coaching changes and everything that's happened in the NWSL this season, it's easy to forget that you have this sort of, and it's not that many players at this point, but your Megan Klingenberg, your Christine Sinclairs, there are players who have been here for years and have a way of doing things, and you're trying to implement a new coach into that. It's not a guarantee that everything just goes swimmingly right away. So you got through that part of it. Then, of course, you have the fact that this was the organization, for the most part, kind of at the forefront of all of the investigations, the Paul Riley stuff. Your front office is essentially gone. You know, your Merritt Paulson is disassociating himself from the Thorn side of the organization. Then you've got the changes in the front office. Another massive burden that these players, this coaching staff, had nothing to do with, was just thrust upon them because of other people behaving improperly. And then you go to part two of that, which I think can also get overlooked, which is the fact that Becky Sauerbrunn is, as the captain of the U.S. women's national team, and, you know, I believe they were on international duty when the Yates report came out, because you saw all of those headlines and Becky Sauerbrunn saying, you know, we're exhausted, talking about the mental toll this was taking on the women's national team while on international duty right after the Yates report. So there's that part of this too. And then even something like Crystal Dunn coming back into the picture. Of course you want Crystal Dunn back. Crystal Dunn's a phenomenal player. It could have sort of messed with the way that this had been operating. Or Christine Sinclair getting dropped for the semifinal. And none of it mattered. You know, Crystal Dunn just came in, played her role, was happy to just contribute and be back out onto the field. Gives you a phenomenal moment to send you to the final. Christine Sinclair comes in, good performance in the final after being dropped. You don't see any disappointment or frustration. She's just thrilled her team is succeeding. You saw the emotion when Dunn subbed on for her. They stayed locked in. They stayed mentally engaged. And then also, regular season finale for this team was October 1st. They didn't play again until October 23rd. Now, yes, some of them had international games over that span. But this is one of those situations where if it wasn't a single elimination format, I think there would be a real argument you want to play the game before. But the reality is, it's too unpredictable. You play as few games to get to the final as possible, end of story. But look what happened to OL Reign. And OL Reign were in terrific form heading into the postseason. And they've got this extended break, and all of a sudden they come out flat. Or at least they're not really able to deal with going behind. I know they created all kinds of chances. Another potential distraction, another thing that could have sent this season down a different path for Portland with that the weird schedule thing. None of it knocked them off course. It is an incredible testament to the leadership within that locker room from a coaching staff standpoint, from a player standpoint with your Megan Klingenberg or Christine Sinclair's. The players who have done this, Becky Sauerbrunn, of course, as well. It's the leadership really is incredible when you sort of think of Becky Sauerbrunn as the third person in terms of vocal leadership. That is an incredibly strong locker room you've got, and players who have seen just about everything. So, mad props to this Thorns team. We as a general public, we as people following this sport, this league, this team, I don't think there's going to be any way we have any idea of just how emotionally taxing this season was. And this group of players got the brunt of it for nothing that they did. And here they are, NWSL champions. It's an incredible story of perseverance, and I don't want that part of this to get looked over because they did handle their business just fine on the field. So I wanted to take more time because there just isn't much to say. They were the better team from start to finish. So I wanted to just focus a little bit more on sort of the bigger picture of this and what it means. And then finally, I didn't want to leave this without mentioning one other thing, which is this is not ending anytime soon for Portland. This young core is incredible already. And you're talking about, Sam Coffey in year one. I think there's a real argument Sam Coffey should be starting as the number 6 for the U.S. at next summer's World Cup. First season in the NWSL. She was sensational. Sophia Smith. Already raved about her. You've already seen what she's doing for the U.S. women's national team. She is the face of U.S. women's soccer moving forward. And you also talk about the players on either side of her. Also incredibly young. These players are year 1, year 2, and they are already key parts of a championship team. And so eventually you're going to have to, do some maneuvering with Christine Sinclair, Becky Sauerbrunn, Megan Klingenberg. There are going to be some fresh faces that need to come over the next, 5 seasons or whatever. Just keep this thing going. But you look around the league at a young core, a core you can build around in a place that, quite frankly, I just don't think players would want to leave. And they are in a terrific position. You already see what these players can do. Imagine what they're going to look like 3-4 years down the road if Portland can hold on to them, and I see no reason why they can't. It is an incredibly exciting time to be a Portland Thorns fan. 3rd NWSL championship. Congratulations. They went through it in a real way and came out in the best way possible with a championship. Got to end this incredibly taxing season on a high note. Super happy for them. They are everything you want in a champion with the way this season has gone in this league. So congratulations, Portland Thorns. Enjoy this one. Again, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time.